Hey folks, Steven here with the Shen Life Pack, or at least part of them, not all of them. Boogs isn't here because she's back there filming it right now.
Hi.
Yes, you saw her hand just then. All right, so today's topic, something I really want to share with you all, is about exploring your limits. Erica refers to this as leaning in and inching forward. Exploring your limits. All right, so sit down. This is going to take a little while. The first thing that I actually need to explain is a little science behind exploring your limits. There was a great guy who's known as the father of stress research by the name of Hans, Erica?
Selye.
Selye. I always butcher that poor guy's last name. Hans Selye, and he came up with the general adaptation syndrome. That is the general adaptation syndrome. It works like this. He said there are 3 phases to the stress response. The first one is the alarm phase. Your body goes into, boom, alarm, all right? The second stage is resistance stage. That's where your body mobilizes its forces of stress hormones and so on and so forth to respond to the stress. It's resisting the stress. The third stage, hopefully you don't get to, but eventually we all get to it because that's death, or at least the progression of death, which we call aging and decline and degeneration, which is exhaustion. So first alarm, then resistance, and then exhaustion. The ideal is to get to resistance and then move back, right? Just finding that line that some people call your edge. That is exploring your limits, leaning in. Now let's look at those 3 phases for a second. Let's look at what's actually happening, all right? So there's 2 types of stress. We think of distress usually as something as a bad thing. It's really not. We need stress, right? We need the kind of stress that you get from working out that builds you up. That's called eustress, E-U-S-T-R-E-S-S. And that is anabolic in nature. It means we grow from it, we build up. Now, the harmful stress is distress, D-I-S stress. Now that is catabolic, meaning it breaks us down. We don't recover from it so well. We want to avoid distress and we want to have more eustress. Now eustress is all about finding your edge. That is exploring your limits. Because what happens in eustress is you avoid going into exhaustion. So let's look at some examples here. I have some real life examples in my own life. We used to run a full practice back in our 30s, 20s and 30s. And when I say a full practice, it was 6 days a week and it was 8 to 10 hours a day. We had a lot more gumption then and a lot more reason to do that. Now I don't suggest anyone do that. However, we were exploring our limits and we had a lot more to give when we were that young. That was 20 years ago for me. We were also training every year a group to do Whitney in a day. If you don't know what Whitney is in a day, it's actually a phrase for people who go and hike Mount Whitney in a day. And it's about 21.5 miles up and back, just short of a marathon with a 6,000 foot elevation gain. Most of the people who are doing it are coming from the coast or the LA Basin, which is sea level. They go to Whitney Portal, spend the night, get up at 2 in the morning. Whitney Portal is about 8,200 feet. Then they hike to about 14,500 feet and come back down. So we would train a group in our practice for a year to do Whitney in a day. And that would usually consist of about 3 5 to 7 mile hikes during the week, usually in the morning or in the evening. And we would follow up with a weekend hike, which would be a longer hike of 12 to 15 miles, where we would either work on elevation gain, or we'd work on altitude, or we'd work on distance or something, or pace. Anyway, we were training the whole group. That was really pushing our limits, and we explored our limits on that, and we were fine for about 4 years doing that, and then we finally put the kibosh on that because it was a little bit too much. Now, did we grow from it? Was there eustress? Absolutely, it was eustress. However, as the year progressed and the hikes got longer and we finally got to Whitney, we definitely moved into distress. Now, how did I know I moved into distress? Because I felt exhausted. And one of the ways that we know that we feel exhausted is we just don't have energy. And our recovery time is sometimes very long. So that's the reason why we put the kibosh and stopped doing that. How do you know that you're getting into exhaustion phase? Well, I talked about it just a few minutes ago. the biggest thing is you just feel exhausted or low energy, but some of the things that precede exhaustion phase, before we actually get to that, are these. And you can write these down. The need for more stimulants or caffeine. Maybe you're not waking up as refreshed in the morning. How about dream-disturbed sleep, or just a restless night, or even night sweats, or a hollowness in your legs? These leg routes right here that store a tremendous amount of energy, in essence, they get used up. They're sort of our bank account of chi in essence. And there will be a hollowness or a weakness or a lack of grounding in our legs, that feeling. How about irritability? Or a quick temper, or sudden outburst of anger, or emotional upheaval and inconsistency and chaos, easy to cry, things like that. These are all ways of identifying if we're getting close to exhaustion. One of the ones that I experience is a lack of focus, or the inability to focus or concentrate on something for very long. So you might notice some other ones, like sugar cravings, just wanting to eat more, not wanting to be around people very long, feeling exhausted or taxed. But the list, there's plenty of them out there. These are all signs we're approaching exhaustion, and we should begin to reassess what we're doing. And this is really what the whole title is all about. That is exploring your limits and finding your edge. And this is where Erica talks about leaning in and inching forward. Leaning in and inching forward. Okay, what exactly is leaning in and inching forward? Well, we really don't know our limits until we are pushing our limits. That is, stretching ourselves, taking risks, getting out of our comfort zone. That's what leaning in is all about. But I want you to pay attention. When I say leaning in, I don't mean just run in and jump on in. What I'm actually saying is exactly what I mean. Kind of lean forward a little bit into something and test the waters. This is part of being in flow. This is part of being in the Tao. The Tao, simply put, is being able to see the small before it becomes large. I want you to think of life as like a big intersection when you're trying to make a new significant change in your life. And you're in a car, which is you, and you're pulling up to that intersection. A lot of times you don't know whether you should go to the right or the left, turn around and go another direction, or move forward. So this leaning in process allows you to get in and get a look-see. As you begin to lean in, you can test your body through feeling, through awareness, through meditation, through contemplation. One of the things you can do is, through contemplation, is ask yourself tough questions. One of the questions I ask myself a lot is why? Why am I doing this? If I can get a good enough reason why I need to do this, not just want, but need to do this to reach my ultimate goal, then I will continue forward. Then I'll begin to ask myself another set of questions around that why. Are these actions that I'm taking essential to get to my goal? Are they essential? If things are non-essential, I will get rid of them. And I will continuously lean in and move a little farther forward and be ready to pivot or change direction and adapt and move on. Sometimes I will completely turn around and go the other direction, or I'll go left, or I'll go right, or I'll move, but it's almost never in a straight line. So that's what leaning in is all about. Okay, what do we do if we're already in exhaustion? If it's already too late? I'm going to show you. This is really simple. Sit on your ass. The quickest way that you can recharge your batteries and get yourself out of exhaustion is just to stop the bleeding of energy. Stop it. You just can't give it out. You just have to cut everything. Now, in real life, a lot of times we can't cut everything because we have jobs, we have kids, we have all kinds of demands that are placed on us. So the first things that you have to do is cut everything that's non-essential, and that means people first. Everything that's non-essential. If you can't take time off work, if you can't take a sick day, or you can't take a sick weekend or sick week, whatever, then cut off all things that are non-essential. The other things are lifestyle changes, such as diet, right? Cut back your exercise, make sure your diet is clean, There's plenty of things out there that you can do to nurture your body. I'm not going to go into them here. We have on other blogs. Make sure that you're getting good rest at night. You're getting to bed early. Get your circadian rhythms back in balance, so you're getting to bed early around 8 o'clock and you're getting up early around 4 to 5 o'clock. That'll give you the best chance for recharging your adrenals and the rest of the glands in the body. Make sure you're getting clean fluids in your body. And what does that mean? That means getting distilled or reverse osmosis water or purified spring water. If it is distilled, I suggest that you restructure the water through a vortex device, or if you're ROing the water, you do the same thing. Usually spring water is all right as long as it's just been cleaned through a carbon filter, double carbon filter. Other things you can do is get early in the morning sunlight or in the evening before it gets dark, about an hour's worth of sunlight. That'll help to recharge. Earthing, walk barefooted on the ground or even take naps on the ground. Just make sure you're not in a snake infested area. These are really good things to do. A thing that can really help if you have the time is to take a weekend or even a week or 2 weeks of a silent retreat in nature somewhere. And the last thing, and probably the most important, just unplug. Unplug from as many things as you can, because anything that requires your attention is going to require energy. Your energy follows attention. So the less things that distract you or cause your attention to go external, right? That's more energy that you're gonna have storing up. So you're literally stopping the bleeding of energy when you relax attention back into the body. And that gets me into the last thing, meditation. There is no quicker way to recharge your energy than meditation, because meditation is aiming at the present moment. That is bringing your attention inward and stabilizing it into the core. That allows you not only to stop the outflow of excessive energy, but it allows you to tap into an infinite reservoir that we call Shen, and the Earth's gravitational field, which we call life, and to bring those back into the body, into a unification, a harmony, a balance, so that you can recharge your body, your mind, and your life. All right, so that's all I have today. I hope this helps. Just remember, lean in, constantly check yourself with meditation and contemplation, asking tough questions, finding out what is essential, and make sure that you're getting your rest. And if you do get exhausted, do some of the things that I said. There's plenty more other things that you can do. All right, looking forward to hearing your comments. All right, I'm out.